I used to work for a person who would get up in the morning and walk around and bellow, "The routine! The routine! The routine!" This was a person that I had a tremendous amount of respect for, and so I listened to everything that he said, and if he was bellowing it, it was probably even more important. Do you have a morning routine? It's probably informal, not strictly regimented or meticulously written down point by point, but I think you do, especially if you are an adult locked into a life with specific responsibilities. It's entirely possible that you get up at exactly the same time each day, like clockwork, as they say, jolted by an alarm. And after you get out of bed, the steps you take are repeated on a daily basis with an almost uncanny precision. It's almost as if you are your own ghost. If you think you've been there before, it's because you have. It's definitely a daily dose of déjà vu. You could spread out a blueprint from day to day, a template, and you would quickly see that you hit the same spots and do the same things at the very same time within seconds. If you could superimpose one day over another like copies of film, the fit would be astounding. There is probably something comforting in having such a routine. For one thing, we don't have to think about what we're doing. The saying goes is that you could do it in your sleep, and for many of us this is probably literally true. We plod through our morning routine, and at some point it's all behind us. Washing, brushing, dressing, driving, working, and we don't really remember too much about it. We were on autopilot, unless possibly something happened, an accident, that pushed us out of our daily routine. This is one of the great thrills of a snow day. Not only do we not have to go to school, but the entire plan of the day is scrapped. We get to go improv. The competitor in a snow skiing race, the downhill, has been down the hill before he or she makes their final timed run. They have traversed the course several times, and they know it in minute detail where they must turn, the sequence of turns, where it's bumpy or choppy with ice, how they must lean, when they must sit back and glide. Therefore, this means that before the final run for the competition, you can see them going over the course in their minds, timing out the series of movements that will get the most success going down the hill. If the designers of the course made a change without announcing it, added a gate or switched a turn, it would destroy the race for every competitor. The course they are running exists firmly etched in their minds, and they are set to run that exact race and no other. A gymnast performs what they call their routine. The same for a diver or an ice skater. They are trying to repeat a series of movements that they have practiced many, many times. The one who most precisely is able to follow their practice regimen to the very last twist or turn and leg extension, point of the toes, that will be a top competitor. Success also comes to a musician who is playing a piece of music with great technical difficulty if they have played it repeatedly. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Once the routine is set into the mind, it becomes effectively mindless. Kinetic memory takes over. Athletes have workout routines. Athletes will tell you, if you even start to think, you're finished. In competition, there isn't time to think. You don't want to do it. They want to have the pattern set, and they want to follow that pattern with no deviation at all. When a receiver runs a route in football, he's following his pattern. The timing of the play demands it. Do you have a morning routine, or what some call their morning ritual? A ritual being an activity with certain prescribed series of motions. I certainly do. And I will often find myself at some point in my day wondering how in the world I got there. It was thanks to my routine. It carried me through a series of somewhat complicated activities without me having to expend any mental effort at all. I can also train myself to make minor adjustments, small compensations, for the blips and glitches I encounter on the way. Is it a rut? Am I just going through the motions? Is my life nothing more than a daily mechanical reiteration? To a great extent, yes. All in all, I slipped along my day like a well-waxed ski through powder snow, and if I met with no unexpected interruption, then I arrived back home at the end of it, and very likely someone was there to ask me, "How was your day?" My answer to that question is probably framed along the exceptions for good and ill to my routine.